Dungeons & Dragons in first person. D&D is arguably the original role-playing game. Created by Gary Gygax in the 70s, it has had a rocky history to say the least. But recently, it has suffered a booming popularity that has skyrocketed the game to the mind of many people. It is a game where the players get together, create their own characters, and then roleplay them however they see fit, in a world that is presented by another player, the Dungeon Master. This world can be fully represented by descriptions alone, done by the DM, in what is called the theater of the mind. But another way of presenting this world is through the use of maps and miniatures that help bring the world to life in a more palpable way. Ever since D&D was created, that game developers have been trying to emulate the sense of freedom and agency that the game provides to the player. These games attempt to give this feeling by switching the DM with a carefully crafted world full of rich 3D environments and a narrative where the player can immerse themselves. And games like The Witcher 3 or Skyrim have done this to great success. But video games, by their very nature, are limited by rules hidden behind their programming. And it is nearly impossible to program a video game to take into account every single possible action the player can make, bringing us back to the tried and true tabletop role-playing game. So, due to some recent circumstances, many people, me included, were forced to play these types of game online through the use of applications like Roll20 or Tailspire that aim to transfer the possibilities of local play to virtual play. But throughout the time where I had to use these apps, I began to wonder, what if there was an application that technically functioned like Roll20, but in first person? Would that be possible? And well, that's what I set out to create. So, hello, my name is Henrique and this channel is my new project, that I call the Metas Project. I am a student currently enrolled in a computer science course. Through this course I learned how to code, and in my free time I learned how to use the Unity software. Having completed a couple of projects, I would say that my understanding of it is on a medium level, so I'm learning as I go along. And this will probably be the most complex project I've ever done. And with this channel, I hope to create a platform where I can document this and any other future projects, maybe share a little bit of my knowledge, but most of all, keep myself accountable to continue working on this. Now, coming back to my first idea. The elevator pitch is very simple. Playing D&D in fully 3D environments that the player can explore with a first-person perspective. Like Skyrim, for example. And before the start of any project, I would recommend trimming down the scope of it to its main key components. This is so you can have a working application that has a very basic experience of what you want to create. Once you have this, focus on them, and every change and addition you make should be to improve on these key pillars. And for this project I decided on 3 main components for it to work. The first being a Dungeon Master map creator. In Roll20, this is achieved through the use of images that then stack on top of each other. An example would be a map with tokens on top. Physically speaking, this would be a battle map that was printed with miniatures or scattered terrain lying on top. But for my application, this would translate into a plane and 3D models. Meaning, the very essential component would be to allow for the import of 3D models in real time. This is very important because I want the application to not limit what the DM can technically create. This way, the DM can make whatever they want, as long as they can create, find or buy the necessary 3D model. The second one would be a player controller. For the DM, we will need something like a Minecraft creative mode controller type where you fly around like a god. For the player, the most simple FPS controller would suffice. Finally, the third one would be the online component. Like Roll20, the DM would prepare his maps beforehand, and at the time of play, the players would then connect to the DM and play around in that created map. Sounds simple, right? Let's do it then. For that, I plan to post videos weekly with the advances I did throughout the week. I don't plan for these videos to be especially technical, more of analysis of my thought process and how I solve the problems that appear throughout the development. I am also considering creating some tutorials to go more into the technical side of things, but we'll see how this goes first. So, if that sounds like something you would like to watch, please consider clicking on the like button and on the subscribe button to follow along. Thank you for watching and see you on the next week's first development update of this, the Metas project. Bye bye!